Uh, ya sale quisiera poder. Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel, Spirit to Spirit, teaching going within self on TikTok 1974 Enlightened Soul. I'm also live on my Facebook. If you're new to my channel, I always recommend, suggest, and I really encourage you to go read the description on my YouTube channel, Spirit to Spirit, teaching you going within self, to get a better understanding of what it is that I bring forward on the channel. For some of you who are familiar, right now today, it's part 5 of Let's Go Down the Rabbit Hole. What sends me down the rabbit hole is I scroll through TikTok a lot just to kind of see what's going on in the world and what have you. I've spoke about Danielle Smith. I've spoke about with regards to some with Elon Musk and a lot with Donald Trump. Now, felt that. Now, today, let's talk Doug Ford. Oh shit! Well, let's just say it was a pretty interesting find. I'd say, Doug Ford, you're a little fucking two-faced, huh? You got your fucking business that you made shit piles of money on. You were worth, what was it, 3 million? And then somehow, like very rapidly, you came up to 50 million. Okay? So let's go down the rabbit hole for a minute. Okay, everybody remember back in COVID, okay? Well, let's see. Doug Ford, he actually has a business that, they do signs and what have you. And a lot of the signs that they used during COVID, it was his business that was making them. Yeah, ahorita. So we're going to dive into it first off. Okay. Because, see, just a week ago, Doug Ford said something totally different to, what he's saying on Fox News. You can find the date. There's no date. But let's go down the rabbit hole of Doug Ford of, let's see, where do we start? Okay. So we'll start here. Okay. We'll start right here. Okay, because Doug Ford, he says about, like, this is how he feels about Trump. So let's go down this rabbit hole.
I love the U.S. I love Americans.
Are you still a supporter of Donald Trump?
Absolutely. I wouldn't believe it. So, God bless the president. And don't get me wrong, full disclosure, I'm a big Republican. I'm a supporter, conservative minded. I love the U.S. I love Americans.
Okay.
Love the
So let's stop that there because, it was just like yesterday or the day before or what have you. Doug Ford went to Washington to meet with Donald Trump. Okay. So, now he's saying he loves, like, Donald Trump and he would vote, like, he would want Donald Trump and what have you. However, just a week ago, when the first tariffs come on, now Doug Ford, he's like bowing to Donald Trump. So it's that part of Doug Ford. What does Donald Trump have on you? Yeah. Yeah. See that? See? You fucker. You know what I hate? Yes, brother. Seriously, man. Between you and Danielle Smith, and all the other ones, Hey, man. Yeah. Somebody wrote he hates Trump. It's business. Okay. Is it business or that he's just, he got blackmailed? Ugh! Hey, Doug, it's all going to come out anyway, so. Di sicuro potrei essere Torriha. So let's go to you, Doug. Let's see what you had to say just last week, just before the tariffs come on.
There's a lot of options for accessible baths and showers. This is one of my favorites. You walk in bathtub with your
Wrong line.
specific executive.
He's got this foolish. Doug.
A disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
You previously voiced support or admiration, I suppose, for Donald Trump. Do you still consider yourself a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not.
Yes,
It's so disappointing. I'm sure there's millions of Canadians that thought, okay, this might be a good change down in the U.S. It's been a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life. What a, he goes up and just stabs you right in the heart. Forget that. We're supposed to be his closest ally, his closest friend. It's terrible what he's trying to, unprovoked, by the way. We ain't the bad guys. Maybe other countries, maybe China, maybe Mexico. You treat it's not China on the wrist, 10% and hurting us. Absolutely not. Never support that guy again, ever. Been a disaster. I'd never support that guy.
I never support that guy. I'd never support that guy. No, but where is it? He said.
Yes, I love Americans.
Oh, and that would have been the Washington. Now let's go. Let's go here. He's down in Washington now, according to this, right? And then there's a thing where he's in a steel place where all he's doing is reading from a teleprompter, and you can tell. So it's like, dude, how many times did he hump you up your ass? Ugh! You got the bum thing going on because they blackmailing each other, man. Doing the steel thing now. So he's a supporter of Trump after he went down to Washington, which just last week. And that was on February 3rd. And we're on what, the 11th? So, hey, motherfucker, what's your point? Like, dude.
Ask the people down there. Ask them if it's important. I'm down here. Ask the people from Sault Ste. Marie if it's important. Because everything's tied in one way or another. It's steel, aluminum, energy. It's very important that we get the message out. And most powerful tools, there's many, but two of them are the American people. Calling on their senator or their congressperson and voicing their opinion. The number.
Changed his mind pretty quick, didn't he? He goes down to Washington, and all of a sudden he changes his mind. And just, where are you, Doug? Oh, yes.
This came after a meeting between the Fed
That was
and
a month
Canadian
ago.
premiers as they wrestle with a threat of 25% tariffs on goods going to the U.S. unless they shore up our borders.
Chrystia Freeland's going to put a list together. We're going to put our list together, and I'm sure the other provinces as well. But we will go to the full extent of any of those rules. We will, we'll coming off for energy, going down to Michigan, going down to New York State, going to Wisconsin. I don't want this to happen. But my number one job is to protect Ontario, Ontarians and Canadians as a whole, since we're largest province.
A number of states.
Didn't he just last week? Where is it? Wait, I don't know. Video of Doug Ford saying that he's going to remove state goods from the shelves.
CBC Jalou joins us now with more. CJ.
Please excuse me for a moment. I'm getting this.
Loonie dipped below 70 cents US. This is for the first time since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. CBC Jalou joins us now with more. CJ, let's start with today's announcement. What did Doug Ford have to say? Hi, Renee. Doug Ford is making good on his promise he made a couple weeks ago, saying he's going to remove all American products from LCBO shelves starting on Tuesday. This includes all wines, spirits, seltzers, so some of your popular products like Tito's Vodka, Budweiser, California Wines, all of that will be gone on Tuesday. He says this is in response to Trump's tariffs and that the LCBO sells about $1 billion of American goods every year. He says that that is no longer going to happen anymore. He says this is a time where the country should stand united and that this is the move he needs to make. So when it comes to the LCBO, they're saying that this is all starting Tuesday as well and that they sell about 3,600 products from 35 states. And Renee, all of that will be pulled from shelves on Tuesday. And I imagine that some familiar brands will be removed from the shelves as well for many Canadians. What has the reaction been?
See, did he get flagged about alcohol? But see, it wasn't just about alcohol. You know, people are saying buy Canadian, what have you. He was telling people to buy Canadian. It's a part of, dude, you're a fucking traitor to your people. You're using the people, which, there's probably more people that, was up for doing what you had originally planned, but you are the brown noser and you better go wipe the brown shit off your nose because you have your nose so shoved up, so far up Donald Trump's ass because they're holding something over your head. And it wasn't about going and just getting finding out about the money. It was about going and finding out who they can fucking blackmail. When you start seeing these people switch over, when all of it, they were all against Donald Trump, and then all of a sudden, Doja, whatever the fuck it's called, comes in. They're blackmailing them. They got the dirt, and they're blackmailing them, and that's how they're getting them to join. That's the same as I seen a thing with regards to Gaza. Trump was supposed to be sitting with somebody, and he said, well, no, I'm not going to have to buy it. We're just going to take it. Are you going to just take it? But then he had somebody, I don't know who the guy was that he had sitting with him. But, they were working up some kind of deal because Donald Trump said it's going to make jobs for the people. Is it? Or is it going to enslave the people? You're going to take their homes from them, and then you're going to say, oh, well, you can come work for us. Which they already had fucking jobs, you fucking moron asshole. Like you like to call everybody else as morons and idiots, right? Want to call me a bitch? Good.
You said before that the US would buy Gaza, and today you just said we're not going to buy Gaza. We're going to have to buy. There's nothing to buy. A war-torn area, we're going to take it with it. You said before that the US.
It's a war-torn area because of you rich fuckers who want to destroy everybody and make them your slaves and take us back to the Roman times. And anybody who backs him up or backs up anybody like him, you know something? He wants to make money off the people. I want to get my invention going, not so I can make money off the people, but so that everybody has something. I'm not out to make a profit off of things, because when I was told about a profit, oh well, I wasn't even really expecting anything, because I just want the stuff out. I want it out there. But all he's looking at, and even Doug Ford, we make us the two richest companies in the world. You stunned jackass. That's all you people ever think about is fucking money. It's fucking paper, and it's created by jackasses like him, so that they can keep you under thumb, and they say, oh, well, we're going to make things. No, you're not going to make things better for the people. You're already making it worse. You've created the fucking war zone. And it's time that the people stand together. Those people are in disarray because of a man like him, who only sees numbers and profits. He wants to build his empire, and he'll use you, and he will fucking destroy you and everything you have if you don't stand up to the tyrant bully. Hey, Doug Ford, you're now saying, oh, it's a bad thing to go and do free trade with China. It's bad business to do free trade with China because they're communists. Well, I see Trump as a dictator there. People say, oh, well, he's doing this, he's doing that. Is he really? How's your food prices? How's your jobs going? How's your living going? People think he has a right to fire people. No. He offered people money to resign. Why do you think that they accepted the money? Because it was the bribe, or their dirty laundry was going to be fucking aired. Shit is plastered all over TikTok and YouTube and everything like that. Hello, is that part of people? Wake the fuck up. Donald Trump brings in a faith person. Well, hey, they just had the Super Bowl the other day, and then they showed footage after the Super Bowl of what went down. And then, excuse me, let's see. I even brought up this, and it really fucking irritated me and pissed me off. And people think those sporting events, when you have you have the hockey, okay, and what happens after the playoffs? Okay, this is like the final playoff. They go and they destroy things. What was it? Trump was fucking pissed off because he said that the Kansas Chiefs were going to win, or however that was pronounced, but it was the Eagles that won. Were you pissed off, you asshole? You had money riding on it, didn't you? That's why you got disappointed. You're sorry, boys. What the? How much did you lose? Seriously. And then fucking Doug Ford goes to the States and all of a sudden his nose is brown. Maybe that's what was being pointed out to me today when I was watching something and I was reading about it and the person was pointing to their nose. The brown nosers. Better wash those fucking stains off your nose. It gives you away, dude. Ugh. Anybody that has, like, with regards that's in the government that has shit plus money, they're not for the people. The reason why they're all shitting themselves, it's not just, it's probably the Republican too, except for the ones that, Donald Trump puts in there, and he can blackmail and bribe. But dude, you think you're the only one doing the investigation? The only thing you want to do is cover your fucking ass. Because, hey, you're going to find out, like they've already found out, most likely. Do you think people don't know that you're associated with the onions? Not just Epstein's island, but Sam's Island too? People don't know Sam's Island? Sam's Island was said to be owned by Samuel Ball, which it was actually originally Cook Island, down around Nova Scotia. Hey, on Curse of Oak Island, they like to talk a lot about Samuel Ball, and they even say that he had an island, and it was Cook Island, but he renamed it Sam's Island. And coincidentally, Samuel Ball looks a lot like P. Diddy. And, Samuel Ball had a friend named Donald. Ugh! And all of a sudden, Donald just vanished. No record of him, nothing. So let me see, Donald. Your uncle stole the stuff from the hotel room, had it where you could get a hold of it, and then you and Elon Musk, because Elon Musk's grandfather looks an awful lot like Elon Musk. I've seen pictures. So you and Elon Musk went back, and you'll probably find possibly even Elon Musk's name, maybe even on the Epstein of people. Maybe. Who knows? Or Donald Trump. Maybe you criticize Elon Musk so much that we found out what kind of man he really is. No, hey, you do try to, you do humiliate the people, and then you blackmail. So it's that part, you can't hide behind the stuff that you say you're doing that is good for people, because we're finding like corruption's being found out, but you're also trying to hide your own. You can't. You can try, but you can't. So Doug Ford, Deco Labels and Flexible Packaging Limited, also known as Deco Labels and Tags, is a Canadian label company specializing in pressure-sensitive labels for plastic wrapping grocery products, and based in Alberta, Etobicoke. Shit. It's an administrating district and former city within Toronto, compromised City West End, whatever that name is, bordered on the south of Lake Ontario. Okay. Uh, it is primarily known for its association with the Ford family of Ontario politicians, including member of provincial parliament Doug Ford Sr., which I find it very strange, because in the States, that Senate woman that was a doctor, she told if Robert Kennedy, if he was on the board with Trump, he wasn't allowed to sue people or do his other work or what have you. It was conflict of interest. But yet, when we had the COVID and everything was shut down, Doug Ford and Randy weren't very nice with their brother Robert's wife and children. Came to him dying. Member of Parliament, Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, an Ontario PC leader and Premier of Ontario Doug Ford Jr. It had an annual sales as of 2016 of approximately $100 million a year. That's a year! Ugh! Bring it, motherfucker. Feels good. History. Deco was founded in 1962 by Doug Ford Sr. and Ted Harriet. The company was originally a Toronto location for Avery Labels, but quickly separated from its parent company. In 1965, Harriet left the company over a dispute whether it should expand into the tag business. In the following years, it experienced significant growth and success under the leadership of Doug Seeley. So, the packaging there of vehicles and stuff like that, they got a big hand in that. So, if they got a big hand in doing that, and they say about the packaging being plastic and like stuff that's not good to have a food or consume, they're putting it in it, and we're fucking consuming it, so they're making profit every which way. You're dirty motherfuckers. And anybody that supports you needs to kick themselves in the ass. I'm going to say it time and time again. People go and you vote these wealthy people in who gives no shit about you. You're finding out that they're taking your tax dollars. They're going and they're partying it up. And then they're behind the curtain. The curtain they're hiding behind. Look at them scramble for food. Oh, do you see that person standing there digging in the fucking garbage for some food? Oh, where's the money? Let's watch them scramble. Like, seriously. And then they'll hide behind, no offense to true Christians, they'll hide behind Christian ideology. And then, they're friggin' Pamela White, she'll get up there and then she'll start preaching, but she'll want your fucking money. Give me your money. Give me your money. Seriously, you think Donald Trump don't know how his hand in that? He's the opposite of Christian. He's the anti-Christian. Says he's not censoring anybody. They're fucking censoring everybody. They want to keep you distracted going after certain individuals when he's the biggest, dirtiest schemer of the biggest majority. When he says the master of deals, yeah, he's the master of deals, all right. He knows how to make blackmail deals. And then he knows how to break his own deals. And he knows how to put his stuff in trust. And then he has the audacity to try and say about other people. And there's a person that I knew years ago. She said, "Oh, well, he's this good guy. He knows how to work." Yeah, he knows how to steal your fucking money. Better go live in the Trump Tower. Go live in his Trump Tower. Go watch the movie In Time. Everything that he says about other people, it's what he's doing himself. He's just not admitting it to it. He's saying about other people. I'm not saying those other people aren't doing it. But I'm telling you right now, anybody who believes that when he says where we go one, we go all, you think he's talking about you? Think again. Because the only thing he's talking about is if you rat on me, I'm going to rat on you. So they're blackmail. And, no offense to the military, because I feel for the people who are in the military that got caught up in it. Because there's a dark side to the military too. You go in there and, they create killers instead of peacekeepers. And then, you know, you get there and, you know, my ex-husband does it. He acts just like a military chief or person who would be fucking downgrading the people and telling them that they're fucking maggots and everything and downgrading them because they were fucking treating them like a piece of shit. Yeah. You know, you think that the PTSD only came from war? My ex-husband had to go in little things, and people just walked off on him. He got like stuck in some. You get treated well. You're downgraded. You're insulted. You know, you could join the military. You could have a happy family, and you decide to join the military, and you come back, and all of a sudden your family is destroyed because you can't adapt to city life. There's a lot of times where my ex-husband, he just wants to be back over the ocean. Not because he wants to be doing what he's doing, but you know, I like he sure likes to call people maggots. It's that part of how many people can like resonate with that where their family members go off and join the military and they come back a whole entirely different person. They left being a good person and they come back being a nightmare and having a constant. It's not about cutting the funding. It's about weeding out the corruption. See, the thing is, they're blackmailing people. And not only are they blackmailing people, but they're getting rid of the good people that were in there because they want to stack it full of dirty, corrupt people. The ones that will make them profit. You know, a good lot of them had their hands in the pot, but there were certain things that they stopped that they should never have stopped. And the thing is, you know, ask yourself with these countries where people are in utter poverty, if money's being sent over there, why are the people still in poverty? And a lot of them are rich countries to begin with. You know, my message, you know, I know the Palestinians and the Israelites or what have you, you know, you're in constant war with one another, but you were once family. One wanted to be superior over the other and they separate it and part of the heart went with one side of Christianity, another with a different aspect of the Christianity. One was for the people, and one was for selfish greed and ignorance. But you were originally family. No, it was one in the many. Come in and they created war. They created the division. I heard a while back that Donald Trump took the Islamic oath. That was in 2020. I heard that. And I read that Donald Trump's daughter was Jewish. She cut Jewish so he could get her married and infiltrate things to get secrets because that's what you're all doing now. Because see, the thing is, it was never to be investigated by people who had a stake in it. It's supposed to be investigated by someone who has no information whatsoever, no personal gain to it. And Donald Trump, you have personal gain. Elon Musk, you have personal gain. Mark Zuckerberg, Bezos, and all the other billionaires that are in here. And even the multimillionaires like, Doug Ford and, Daniel Smith, you're going to get your nose in it, right? Because groping. You're actually, that's actually a violation. Because you're not supposed to drill, baby, drill. Because renewable energy was already there, but you guys, you tore it down. You took it out of history. And Donald Trump, how many fucking times did you rewind? I watched a TikTok video where another man told his wife that we're in Roman times. He's not wrong. To say about Elon Musk's salute and what happened, it was a wrong story. But it was also a Hitler salute because Hitler looked up to the Romans, and that's why it looks so identical. So it was the British. So Donald Trump, I think, you say about liberty, but I actually think that you idolize the monarchy and, you want to be that, but you want to be king. And I know that, you got control over the systems and what have you. So, you say you don't censor, but you censor everything. And if you don't go along with anything, you may not kill them yourself, but you send your friends to do your work for you. I watched another thing where, and I believe it would be true. Like people, I think that women got creeped out by Donald Trump, and that's why he has a hate on for women because he got proven out so many times. And I think he's seen Melania as an easy prey. No offense, Melania. You may be a smart woman, but shit, you had to trick your husband so you could have a baby. Douglas Robert Ford Jr. is a Canadian politician and businessman who has served as the 26th and current Premier of Ontario. And my question is, how many years has these people been in office? Because, according to the Constitution, they're not supposed to be in there any more than 5 years. Don't believe me? Let's go get the Constitution. People do like referring, a lot to the Constitution. Your government likes to refer to the Constitution. And, if you read about the Sexual Sterilization Act, they say in there that in 1928, they said in there that the Democrats were created for the poor. Government was not created for the poor people. It's people wanting to do good in it. But it's that part of, like I told my son, my youngest son, when he was little, he stole Yu-Gi-Oh cards from a kid in class. Okay? I got called. I went into the principal's office. And we got Dylan, and we got him in there. We got my youngest son in there. And we asked him if he stole the cards. He told us that he didn't, but I knew he did. So we went out, and I went back. I walked into class, and before I walked into class, I told him that, it's better that you tell the truth, whether you stole them or not, than to wait and be caught because you stole them. So I told him it was better to be honest about it than waiting until you get caught, because if you get caught, then, the repercussions would be worse because you lied about it. So I went to the principal, and I told him. I know he took them. And I left and went home, and I got a call from the vice principal, and she told me that he went back to the office He gave the kid the cards back and apologized. I took him back to stores because he had taken the gel. And when I took him back to the store, I asked the manager upstairs. And he said, oh, well, that's it. And I told him, no, it's not. So I made him go get the security. And then the security came in and talked with him. So, Doug Ford, you're a traitor to your people. You're a liar, just like Trump, and that's why you get along so well. You know, I did the video last night, and the write-up said that politicians, they lie, but Donald Trump is one of the worst ones for it that they've seen in history. And Chrétien, he did say we politicians we lie, or we politicians we steal. Right? So people will forget that. I think he was the only one that ever admitted that they steal. So let's see. Democratic rights. Democratic rights of citizens. Every citizen of Canada has the right to vote in an election of members of the House of Commons or of a legislative assembly and to be qualified for membership therein. Maximum duration of legislative bodies. Maximum duration of legislative bodies. Maximum means the maximum amount of time that you're able to be in there. No House of Commons and no legislative assembly shall continue for longer than 5 years from the date fixed for the return of the words of a general election of its members. So my question is, how are these people allowed in there as long as they're in? With that not like the way things are going, and they're in there longer than 5 years, so things are go. Would that not be making, you already have a dictatorship because they've been in there for 5 years. Ugh! So I know that, Pierre Poilievre and Danielle Smith and Donald Trump and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Bezos, you all have the ability to fuck with people's electronics. And you have those, like, what is it, 6 to 8 of those younger guys. And, you're probably making a profit on selling people's SIN numbers and data and stuff like that, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to steal the property from the people to eliminate all deeds and what have you. If you're electronic and somebody doesn't have a written deed, you want to try to steal those deeds. And how do I know? Because you did it to my granddaddy. My 6th grade granddaddy. After I read his wills, you took it off of the land registry. Property online. That's tampering with evidence. That's tampering with a legal document. So my question is, why aren't the fucking lawyers on it? Seriously. Do I trust any of you? From my experience, no, there was one judge that I had that was really seemed to be any good. And that was in the 13 years that I was in and out of the family court system. Let's see, Doug Ford, okay, politician and businessman who served as the 26th and current Premier of Ontario and leader of the Progressive Conservatives Party since 2018. I thought he was fucking liberal. Ugh. Traitor, see? He's working for these double teaming. He was the leader of the Conservatives. Seriously, people, they're flip switching. And I can feel that in my body. So, hey, purito por ahí. Because I know you cut them off so that, you can try to come in at me. And you think I don't see you guys standing behind these people and mind controlling them? Ugh, not fucking stupid. I watch your damn body language. They had a young fella I believe it was in Palestine, Palestine, and they had a young fella at the podium, and he was surrounded by men who were intimidating, and I could see them. And one of Justin Trudeau's speeches, I could see the two in the background, and they were getting irritated because I could see the shifts. And then there was another guy that I watched the video where he was speaking just all hyped up and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, and then he said something and his voice had changed. Trump, other people may not believe, but you're a fucking warlock. And I'm not stupid. And you have your fake witch there with you. And I'm not talking about Melania. Because, I don't think Melania really likes you. Because if my ex-husband is a version of you, I can understand why. Let's keep going with Doug Ford. And leader of the Progressive Conservative Party since 2018. What political team is Doug Ford on?
According to Wikipedia, Douglas Robert Ford Jr., MPP, born
Oh,
November
he's
20th,
still on the
1964, is a Canadian politician and businessman who has served as the 26th and current Premier of Ontario and leader of the Progressive Conservative Party since 2018.
Why did I always think that he was a liberal? And now that I see it, like, he's pretty pro baby drill because he did say about the minerals. Was it here?
Well, Premier Doug Ford is threatening to cut off energy supply to the U.S. in response to the tariffs threatened by U.S. President-elect.
That's not it.
You said before that the U.S. would flag Gaza. Homeowners, if you're sick of paying too much money for electric bills, you can actually get a $5,000 federal grant.
Oh, that's fancy. Okay. This is where he's for.
That's the people of Hamilton. Ask them if it's important that we down here. Ask the people from Sault Ste. Marie if it's important down here.
See, as far as I knew, a lot of people in Ontario and everything, they actually were all for this. I'm for keeping peace, but I'm not for somebody fucking bullying the people because you got traitors like him. I would have to say, and this is what I would say to them, to the conservatives. Right now, you are committing treason. You are. Because treason is the country. Because, see, the thing is, if anybody's ever heard of a letter patent, Queen liked to have letter patents. So if the Queen had letter patents, would that not be a patent of the people? And if the people were a patent to the Queen, would that not represent that we were part of the Queen? So if they did stuff like this, then they were committing treason on the people because the people is the country of the Queen. The land, you're digging in the land, you're causing harm. There's a woman that goes around and says that she's the Queen of Canada. Seriously? Are you really the Queen of Canada? It's not about like having the monarchy as it runs, but you want to hear something strange when people say, "Oh, but that wasn't real." You're doing it's fucking. In 2021, when I was in the psychiatric unit, that's when I first started, going through my awakening on a hardcore level. I was in the hospital, and it was really weird because I was getting that the Queen Elizabeth, didn't say Queen Elizabeth, we were getting Queen Elizabeth, and she was sorry. and that she wanted to make things right. I was channeling through that, and there's been many times where I get the crying from, our ancestors that felt that they failed the people. And they're trying to communicate with everyone and say, it's all yours. The people need, should there be a form of a government? A form of government, but it's the people that need to have the last say and oversee everything. But it's about not just one country, but the world's uniting together and sharing. It's called Commonwealth, where everybody benefits as a whole, and no one place should be really getting any more than the other because the stuff that you're making a profit off of, it should never have been profitable because it wasn't required. Because to keep taking things out of it, removing things out of existence, and it becomes like an amnesia. I remember when my nanny and grampy and at the church up the top, like up around where I grew up, they had like the lightning rods, and the lightning rods would have represented the electricity coming in, and they would have, you could do something with that to keep it from being any theft. See, people don't believe stuff like that because they don't teach you in your history books. I hear that song from Watch Shallow, and it's that part of, asking if you're happy in this modern world. It's not a modern world. It just appears. We're still in the times. It may not seem as like we're not fighting with swords and stuff like that. But there are some countries where people are like they're stabbing others and then what happens? God doesn't work on dollars and cents. Like, shit, man. To me, I'm going to say it. The liberals' way is about pumping the media. The conservatives, it's all about the money. It's all about Joe Baby Joe and, let's not do this green thing because, there's no profit in the green thing for them. He wanted to get rid of all the alcohol, like the state's alcohol. And, he was talking with regards to shutting down Sky or Starlink. He who's canceling Starlink, who's canceling contracts with the states.
Are you a Canadian senior who doesn't have a funeral coverage plan? Can you afford as little as $14.80?
Okay, so we're gonna play this because it says Trump tariffs. Ontario's Doug Ford bans contracts with U.S. companies like Starlink.
Well, good morning, everyone, and I just want to thank you, Greg.
Be a half
Thank
hour.
you for your very kind words, and
I'm
Bob,
just
thank you
watching
for
it
being
this
here as
time.
well. Along with the team of firefighters, they're absolute champions. I always say I will always have their backs. And I want to say thanks to my Ontario PC candidates for also being here today. David Piccini, another champ. I've worked with the firefighters for a long time, ever since becoming the Minister of Labor from North Cumberland, Peterborough South. So great to see you, David. And hometown gal, Christine Hogarth from Etobicoke Lakeshore. It's just great to have both team members here. I'm honored to have the endorsement of the Ontario Professional Firefighter Association. Their first endorsement in nearly 15 years, and their first endorsement ever of our PC team. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. Thank you. Ontario's firefighters are second to none. Every day they put their lives on the line for us. They suit up and run straight into danger, right into fire.
I'm almost hearing their thoughts, and it's like we're looking at him like, man, you're fucking full of shit. When they had the California fires in the States, didn't Canada send a lot of firefighters over to the States? Even when there was the tariff threats. You know, they want to use these people as props. The same as, you know, I'll say, even when the Liberals, like Justin Trudeau, when he gave all that money to the Indigenous community so that they could find their loved ones, confirmation, excuse me, where they could find their loved ones, and then after it came out of the public's eye, they withdrew 89%, 86 or 89% of the funding that they gave to the people. But they used the Indigenous community as the prop. Oh, you got to stand here, like, you know, oh, we want to look good for the people. But, you know, I'm going to say, like, you know, Justin Trudeau maybe sometimes come off as a little strange and not a very good leader to some. But, you know, I don't see, like, he goes to countries, they'll get him to dress up in these uniforms. It looks like maybe people think he looks like a goof or what have you, but is he trying to look like a goof, or is it that, you know, he's trying to show diversity? But he's using them as props. Because, see, the thing was, they actually had taken millions of dollars from them. because I did that when I did my Danielle Smith. Well, there's the equalization payment. Go look it up. I think tonight on my YouTube, I'm gonna replay. I'll put it on my TV and then I can go to bed and I'll just play the video that the live video that I did of Danielle Smith. It was like 10 hours and a half long. But it had in there that she cut funding to the fire department. I believe it was around 2018 or thereabouts. Oh crap! Apparently, yep. Apparently, yep. That was right. They gave funding or something, and she cut funding. So that's why they're of the mindset right now, and you can. Oh shit! You can tell in the background that they're standing there and they're looking at him like, yeah, right. Like, we don't believe a damn word you say. And I know that, they fucked with the algorithms again because that's what they do. Because I know that, like, people are coming in and either they're streaming or they're not. It doesn't matter. But, you stop everything, right? Yeah, I said that.
And again, thank you. It's truly inspiring. And I'll tell you,
They're using
a little
people
bit about
as adults.
bravery right now. Before here in Canada, we're entering in a really challenging time. Some of the toughest we've ever faced. Tomorrow, President Trump's going to effect. And I'm just so disappointed in him. I'm so disappointed that he's chosen to walk away from a trading relationship that for decades has made life better for millions of workers on both sides of the border. I wish we were here. I wish Ontario and Canada were working together with our American friends and allies.
See, he was all for what Justin Trudeau was doing. He was saying about cutting power off to the states. Like, seriously, man. It's that part, they're playing both fields, actors on both sides. Yeah, shit. Did you ever tell me I said I? You said that we should have put something more. yet in this thing over here,
It's been a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
You've previously voiced support or admiration, I suppose, for Donald Trump. Do you still consider yourself a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not.
Can you expand?
It's just so disappointing. I'm sure there's millions of Canadians that thought, okay, this might be a good change down in the U.S. But a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life. What a, he goes up and just stabs you in the heart. We're supposed to be his closest ally, his closest friend. It's terrible what he's trying to, unprovoked, by the way. We ain't the bad guys. Maybe other countries, maybe Canada, maybe Mexico, you treat, you slap China on the wrist, 10%?
see,
With the world in chaos,
they are,
what's really needed is some of the
people were saying about Trudeau bowing down to Trump. Is Trudeau bowing down to Trump? Or was Trudeau actually fighting it because, it's a bully system? And he was fighting the bully. He might have been, probably finding his pockets and everything along, but, it's that part of looking at it from, let's see, how do I put this? Actions opposed to words. Because
It's been a disaster.
That
I'd
man.
never support that guy in my entire life.
You've previously voiced support.
but then up here, wrong
You
person.
said before that the U.S.
Right here.
I love the U.S. I love Americans.
Are you still
Right.
So, God bless them.
Absolutely. Go back. I have so much shit here. He's saying, there he said absolutely.
Next, this is an executive.
It's been a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
You've previously voiced support or admiration, I suppose, for Donald Trump. Do you still consider yourself a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not.
Can you
It's
expand?
just so disappointing. I'm sure there's millions of Canadians that thought, okay, this might be a good change down in the U.S. But a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life. He was Americans
Oh.
like that. We're supposed to be his closest ally, his closest.
Okay, he just said it there. He would never support him. But then in here, questions
I
asked.
love the U.S. I love Americans.
Are you still supporting?
Absolutely. I wouldn't
Absolutely.
friend. It's terrible what he's trying to unprovoked, by the way. We ain't the bad guys. Maybe I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
I love the U.S. I love Americans.
Are you still supporting?
Absolutely. I wouldn't
Seriously. I know what they're doing because I can feel it right in here. So it's that part of so Donald Trump, you can get your person to throw whatever they want at me, or do whatever voodoo do they do. Get up on the stage and go, hey, quise la pastorea eso de que último mes, a mí que tú puedes crear esta de hacer, tú de que me dan, eso todo por lo que hace, que se puede. I feel for her. If her story was true, that when she was younger, she was sexually molested and stuff like that. So, I'll tell you right now, if you were sexually molested and stuff like that, you were doing to women what you were doing, you ought to feel foolish for yourself. You don't deserve to wear the label of a woman because you're no woman. You're a traitor to her. So if you want to go kiss Trump's ass because it might make you some money so that you can, do what you have to do, just bury your sorrows. I had my own sorrows, but I fucking got through them and I didn't use people to get there. And I sure as fuck didn't make other people wear my shit. I wore it myself. Maybe I did get angry sometimes, especially now when I'm saying, hey, you made me feel pain. Now you can fucking take the shit for it. I'll tell you right now that you'll always find out that, there last week when I was doing a thing and I said Uncle Donald, what I got from that, holy shit, man. Maybe somebody was telling Uncle Donald to stop. What? Apparently so. I have to say, because, with the people that Donald Trump's father would have hung out with, things probably happened to Donald. Because he did have some mummy wounds. Not only did he have mummy wounds, but he had daddy wounds too. Not being rude, Donald, but your mother was pretty hard looking. And in the end, my mom was pretty depressed looking too. It's that part of they probably wanted more. It's that we want more out of life. But we stay stagnant because we feel, well, that's how you have to be in order to have a family. But that's not the way at all. If we didn't have people like him and Donald Trump and Danielle and Pierre Poilievre and what have you leading our countries, people would be a hell of a lot happier. They'd be a hell of a lot richer. Because then they'd have the ability to have abundance for themselves because they wouldn't know how to bring it about for themselves. And they wouldn't have to worry about working for fuckers like these and being treated like a piece of shit. Getting the fucking money by you working for them and then getting the money because they're paying you to work, but they're taking your money back because you got to pay the government and you're paying their fucking salaries. So either way, you're still stuck paying for them. Raging lunatic? Well, hey. It's that part of, I guess you might want to know what you're observing and witnessing before you start throwing shit and shade on you. When you have people coming and telling you of things that are happening, and you have someone like myself, and you're actually seeing that what's going on is real, but you'll say, you're fucking lunatic, man. You need to be in the hospital. No. I don't need to be in this. You need to see the light. You know, my dad told me one time, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. Well, it's not part of, the only way things are going to change is if you stand up for that change and you don't keep going back to sleep and putting your head in something that will bury the stuff that's really going on. It's not about creating more, but these people like to do it. See, he's no longer fighting. He's no longer saying, hey, you put tariffs on us, we're putting it on you, and we're going to cut you off of other things. Now he's saying, oh, well, please, like, oh, the steel and the aluminum, it's being affected now. Dude, it was another fucking scare tactic because the 25% tariffs were going on everything anyways, you daft stick shit. But wait, you already know that. My ex-husband told me you guys speak their language, only, they put a little more charisma behind it, but yet they're telling you, like, you're fucking morons because you're taking in all the bullshit that we say. Kind of, I just heard, do your worst and you do our best. It's people like him that make us look like patsy pushovers. I have to ask now, men say they're men, but, I guess it's time for the women to stand up and show the men how it's done. Stand up to the bullies. Actually, it's not about whether it's a man or a woman. It's the feminine energy. The feminine energy dumbs itself down so that the masculine can make itself feel big. Better go bum rush each other. See who's full of the most shit. I just got and I will I have seen women that actually appeared like they were men. And did you ever see the movie Mrs. Doubtfire? She put on a suit to make herself look like a woman. Seriously. Donald Trump wants to uh, testing on the women who are the ones that they suspect is transgender to what is it, testosterone hey, maybe there should be testing in the government too, okay? To see if the ones that are saying they're a man is really a man or if they're just wearing a lady suit. Seriously. I guess, Donald will go your 12 years if it works for him, why can't I, do I think that men, whether you're transgender or not, should be playing in women's sports? Fuck them. Do I think that men should be posing as women in the government? Fuck no. But they're doing it. How many watched Ace Ventura: Pet Detective when that woman was actually a man, but even the whole police force thought it was a woman? He said, "Very good hair." No name. And he was one of the football players. He was like one of the football players. So hey, dice la cosa pure. With his brother Randy Ford, owns Deco Labels and Tags, a printing business operating in Canada and the United States. Ha! His business was threatened! Ah! The police arrested him. Oh, hasta cara, si puto tuviera. You right. I said blackmail. That would be a reason for blackmail. Buddy, it meant that you were going to lose some profit, so you were a fucking traitor to your people. All of the pocketbook. Get it in there. Get it in there. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Not too far. Can't rip a hole. You got to still stuff more in there. Good at the you know, down the rabbit hole, Alice. And the people going down the rabbit hole represent Alice. Take a dive down the deep well. And then don't forget to eat your magic mushrooms along the way so you can become enlightened to see the truth. Which magic mushroom would represent the Kundalini, which, they don't want you to know that. It's fear of the snake. You're feared of the snake. It's the devil. No, the snake is not the devil. When you see the health organization or what have you sign, and the ambulance, and they have the snake floating up, that represents your Kundalini. And they're putting the daggers through it. Because if they can have the daggers through it, then it keeps you connected to the system. And you're connected to the system. So it keeps you dumb. People can't tell you the truth. And then because, you know, it's not just men, it's women too, but, you know, he wants to check women in sports and check the DNA. So I think we need to be checking in the government to make sure we're not talking about lifting up their skirt or their shirt. Maybe we should check in there because there's been a lot of funding that has gone towards stuff like that. Right? Because I'm going to be honest, and you know, people can take offense to this or not, but I still, my belief is, you know, if you're transgender, that's too spirited. Don't go mutilate your body. Seriously, because to me, doing that, you're actually misguiding people. And that's where there's so much flack coming on the TG or TBTQ, however, like I can't even put it out. LGBTQ, sorry. Okay, that way I will say it. But to me, it's all about the two spirited. But see, do I believe that women should be for that? I don't. And the reason why I don't is because I think that it's happening within the governmental system. And it's not on the people who actually want to do the transitioning for the most part. But if you want to do the transitioning, it's not about other people paying for that transitioning. It's that part of if you choose to transition, that's something you want to do. That's a choice. Because you can't say that it's a mental health issue because it's not a mental health issue. It's not a gender issue. It's a person being of a masculine or a feminine in the body that they feel doesn't match. But it's that part of, you know, it's not about the body itself. You're born a boy or a girl. It's not about the body itself. It's about that part of the masculine and feminine. You can have a man, a born boy, but they perceive themselves as a woman, which they see themselves more as feminine. What's wrong with a man dressing feminine? You shouldn't have to go get food or, you know, change things. I went into a store, into Sally's, and there was a young man in there. He had long hair and he had a beard, and you could tell. Because you could tell he was transgender because he went by the name Karen. But he still had facial hair. You know that in many cases, girls have boy names and boys have girl names because they're universal. Because you have a name. Sometimes it's a part like when you're within the two spirited, which it is. You're if somebody changes their name to either a female name or a male name, what you're actually experiencing is it's the last lifetime that they lived that they were and that was their name. So they were that sex the last time they were, and that's a lot of where you're actually getting this part where there's so much turmoil within the system structure itself of how you perceive. See, a lot of the transgender men or what have you get into government, they feel, if I transition as a woman, I'll have more power, I'll have more say, because they figure women have more say. So they're trying to take the rights of the women. So they're trying to, in that perspective, they're trying to remove the feminine again. That's the Phoenix, not Donald Trump. I'll give it a second. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm just see. Go with this. Okay. So to say you're working with the angel. There's the angel. Some people may say it was just a cloud. Really? So let's go to the next one. Looks a lot like what a phoenix would look like, right? To the angel and the phoenix rising. And there's the space. That there, I showed it before, was on the water tower about between 300 and 500 feet from my place. It was like 300 feet, maybe 4. That's when it was vibrating. I caught it vibrating, and that's when I caught it still. Sorry. Vibrating and still. No, I have to say it. Holy shit! You know, if you look at the phoenix, it looks a lot like the hands of the phoenix. Oh, fuck! Looks a lot like the hands of the phoenix. You know, the phoenix is like this. And this here comes down like this. There's two things there, and it comes down, and it has like this, and then it has like it would be like that. Phoenix. See. See. The Sphinx in Egypt. Let's go in here. See? And there's the pause right there. It comes down like this, and then it comes out like that. Have a look, see. Comes down like this and out like that, and it has the on like that. Coincidences? No, because too many things add up. United States that their father founded. Doug Ford Sr., who served as a member of provincial parliament, MPP, from 1995 to 1999. Ford was a Toronto City Councillor, which they like to keep it in the family, which, how is that fair? Is that not? I would almost hazard to say it would be a conflict of interest. Councillor for Ward 2, Eticoke, North, or from 2010 to 2014, at the same time that his brother Robert Ford was mayor of Toronto. Seriously, people, are you awake yet? How is anything fair there? It's a conflict of interest. It's keeping the family there. They're all collaborating together. Ford ran the 2014 Toronto mayoral election. Mayoral election, where he placed second behind John Tory. In 2018, Ford entered provincial politics and won the Progressive Conservative leadership election. He led the PCs to consecutive majority victories in 2018 and 2022 general elections. As Premier Ford decreased the size of Toronto City Council, led the province through the COVID-19 pandemic, he was also granted extra powers to mayors of cities via the Strong Mayors Building Home Act. It is a statute in Ontario that grants extra powers to the mayor of Toronto and the mayors of other designated municipalities with their mayor council governments. Powers granted. Previously, all Ontario mayors had little to no direct unilateral power, with the role largely limited to chairing council meetings, appointing committee chairs, and performing ceremonial duties. All decisions had to be approved by council via a majority vote. Mayors generally did have considerable soft power in terms of influence over council. However, they could still be overruled if a majority of council disagreed with their actions. The system can be defined as a weak mayor system. Under the Act, the provincial government could designate municipalities to use an alternative strong mayor system. Under this, the mayors of designated municipalities would be granted direct control over the following matters. He wrote it was drafting of city budgets, which would normally done by council committee. The appointment and dismissal of city the appointment and dismissal of city managers and department leaders, except police chief, fire chief, and auditorials. The creation, dissolution, and reorganization of municipal administrative departments. This is what they're saying that the mayors have, because like people in their province, like Justin Trudeau's premier, or not the premier, prime minister, right? Okay, so Justin Trudeau is the prime minister. The federal government they disperse to the provincial government. So Danielle Smith would be provincial, Doug Ford would be provincial, Pierre Poilievre would be provincial, and so on and so forth. So when Justin Trudeau's government and federal government aspect of it, when they disperse certain amounts of money out to those provinces, they're telling the provinces that you do with the money what you want to do with it. But see, the thing is, they're supposed to be overseeing what they're doing. At least they should be. Because I know my sister, she would get angry because she would say about like Justin Trudeau is not giving money to the province, when in actuality the federal government is giving money to the provinces. It's the provincial governments that's not spending it wisely within their jurisdiction. So it's that part of passing the buck and trying to cover up your own corruption so that you can put it on the menu. Is he doing stuff? Oh. they're not making wise choices where the money goes. But see, the thing has there been anybody overseeing them? Or have they just been left to their own devices? So it's not part of, you can't just put all the blame onto the government. They are responsible, yes. But as the people, they work for us, so we should be making sure that we oversee what they're doing and where they're spending your money. It's not about not helping other countries, but it's not part of helping those other countries to sort their own stuff out so that they can have the money and nobody needs to be getting any funding from any place. It's weaning out the corruption because seeing the corruption, which, I'm doing the cross-referencing for you. I don't vote. People say, well, you shouldn't have any say then. Well, no, I should have say because that's why I have say, because I didn't give my say up to somebody else to speak for me. The people should be speaking for themselves. And the ones in government should be listening to the people, not the corporations and each other. You listen to the people. You come to a solution that works for the people, not in favor of your manipulation, corruption, greed, and ignorance, and incompetence. Didn't say you weren't. I didn't say you were uneducated. I said you're incompetent. You're in a job you shouldn't be because you don't have to keep your rules open. I just heard, did you ever steal? I was like 11 and I went to the store down the road from where we were. And it was winter time and I had my hands, I was holding a job burger, I had my hands up my sleeve and I wasn't really paying attention. And I paid for my stuff and I got all the way home and I just realized that I had it because I wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh shit. I didn't say oh shit. But did I go back? No, so I guess I did steal the job burger. No, I ended up going to Winners one day, and I was confused, and that was the price of everything. And I thought, well, it's on sale now. I got to do it. I looked at my receipt and didn't see the boots on there. So I started going. I was like, oh, I gotta go back. I gotta pay for these boots. I could have kept going, but I didn't keep going because my gut was saying, no, get your fucking ass back there. Take those back. Because my goodness, as the further you got, the more it was the pullback, the tugging back, and that's that part. If you're in a situation and you're getting that and you're feeling like you're being pulled back, maybe it's a cord, and you need to cut that cord. And by cutting the cord, sometimes it's that part of you got to stand up to what is holding you with that cord. Veto power over bylaw. Yeah, it gives them veto power over bylaws that may conflict with priorities defined by the provincial government, which may be overridden by a two-thirds supermajority of the council. Well, I don't agree with the bylaws. Okay, if there's bylaws in place, and they can say that a bylaw was in conflict with their priorities because if you ever watch Evan Almighty when the Senate, one of the Senate guys, he was cutting corners on development, and God came to Evan and had Evan build an ark like Noah's Ark because there was going to be a flood. Well, they thought it was going to be a flood like Noah's Ark, but what it was, and ask yourself, Noah's Ark wasn't the way that, like, in certain cases, the way they explained it, because in Evan Almighty, it was the dam, and they had torn out all the trees, and they built the dam and everything like that, so that they could build property, much the same as what Donald Trump wants to do. So what do you do? Well, they cut corners. So, then, like, Donald Trump wasn't upset that, he was doing some kind of peace thing with Israel or what have you, and, wasn't honest about what was going on, and it created another war, which, that was a plan all the time. So in Evan Almighty, the dam broke, and everybody thought that Evan was like a nut bar, and then they all ended up running for the ship, the ark, because they heard the dam breaking, and they all had to get aboard the ark, or they were all going to drown. See, how do we know that, like, things that are happening right now on the earth and the planet, how do you really know that it's not happening because of them killing people? There's nobody overseeing them. Why? I watched a thing today where it said with regards to the cosmos, you're not allowed to interfere. You were not allowed to interfere, but you said that you brought fire and the knowledge of fire and other things to the people. You gave it to them as a gift, but you left them to their own devices. They had free will, right? But you didn't tell them or teach them what the purpose was. And then you wonder why. They suffered of, you interfered with them. So the mess that's here, you're to blame for it too. It's not about like just handing something over to somebody and say, here, you figure it out. If they don't know what they're doing, they're going to obviously see that, he could burn it. taught how to, you weren't taught how to use anything. So what, you used it as an experiment and, try to get rid of the experiment so that your own to tell everybody else they have to. I think it should be team. And I think that the ones that benefit the most should be the ones that for the bill. And Elon Musk, you want to you want to plant your flag on Mars. Well, hey, Trump, you want to make some kind of prison place on Guantanamo Bay, which I read about that. I actually did a video with regards to the history of the United States and Guantanamo Bay too. We tortured people. Elon Musk, you, Donald Trump, all your other buddies, pack you up and ship you up there into Mars and have that a prison planet. It's pretty barren. Is that why you want to get to Mars? They want to remind you of Mars, it's barren. Seriously. Or how about, we pack you guys up and put you guys in Guantanamo Bay, or put you in the prison where, the people are all caged up, like 30, 30 or more in a cell because of how dangerous they're said to be. So part of how many people were tortured and drove insane. So you could say, it doesn't just go for Trump. It goes for all of the things that that he's associating with that's freaking just as corrupt as him. Just for every puppet, there's a puppet master. And for every puppet master, I always think that there's a puppet to play. It's like the Muppets. Don't forget to shove your hand up their horse. Get them to talk. Or put your hand over their face so they can't say shit at the end. And people, you take that help from you. Because this is a spirit to spirit. Most spirits know exactly who they're fucking for. But who they feel anything for, fuck knows. It's that part of reminding you back to what you're up for. In 2018, Ford entered provincial, victory in 2018 and 2022 general election. As Premier, Ford decreased the size of Toronto City Council, led the province through the COVID-19 pandemic, granted extra powers to mayors of cities via the Strong Mayors Building Homes Act. You know, I like how they're able to make all these acts, all these bills. Like, you know, I thought that the people were supposed to be involved with passed Bill 60 to expand the use of private healthcare services and grappled with controversies from the Green Belt scandal. The Green Belt scandal is a political controversy in the Canadian province of Ontario, but the Green Belt. Shortly before the 2018 Ontario general election, a leaked video of Progressive Conservative Party politician Doug Ford showed him promising that he would open up a big chunk of the protected area, a natural reserve in southern Ontario's Golden Horseshoe region, to real estate developers. Fucker! Get off! What the Suto bonita bata kita. Sumaya. Any connection to Donald Trump? Ah! Wait a minute. Did he say?
Here, next.
It's been a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
You've previously voiced support or admiration, I suppose, for Donald Trump. Do you still consider yourself a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not.
Can you say
It's
that?
just so disappointing. I'm sure there's millions of Canadians that thought, okay, this might be a good change down in the U.S. It's been a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life. Whatever.
Never support that guy in my entire.
Of course, I love Americans. Absolutely. So, God bless the president. And, he was up. I'm going to be wrong. Full disclosure, I'm a big Republican. I'm a supporter of conservative United.
He's a MAGA supporter. You got Danielle Smith, a MAGA supporter. You got Doug Ford, a MAGA supporter. You have Pierre Poilievre, a supporter, and they all like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Pierre Poilievre, he's probably up Elon Musk's ass so far because, you know, Pierre Poilievre's son wants to go to Mars. Wow! My soap opera here. Here's your fucking soap opera. Give you a little bit of everything you're looking for, including the fucking drama. And I ain't a paid actor because I ain't acting.
love the US. I love Americans.
Well, so let's see. Promising video of Doug Ford promising that he would open up a big chunk of the protected area. Uh, oh, I know what they're doing. They still have to
We will open up the green belt, not all of it. We're going to open a big chunk of it.
Shit, I'm telling you, it sounds an awful lot like, the series, the movie, Living Almighty. I think he's being on Prime. Or it's Prime or Walt Disney. But people say, oh, you watch it? Yeah, I do have it because I'm using it as a reference.
People are literally changing their lives, changing their futures, and we can replicate it. And that's science. The formula is really about
You know what
brain
this is like?
coherence and heart coherence, where you keep practicing and every experience is going to change you. And now, start to call energy back to you. Start building your own electromagnetic field.
Yeah, but
Now you have energy.
We will open up the green belt, not all of it. We're going to open a big chunk of it up. We're going to start building and making it more affordable and putting more houses in there. The demand for single-dwelling homes is huge, but no one can afford them.
What you just saw there was video of Ontario PC leader Doug Ford speaking to developers back in February, promising them that if he got elected as premier of Ontario, he would essentially develop a big.
That was 2015.
The Green Belt. Now that video was leaked by the Liberals in the ramp up to the June election. So now, and behind me, all of the space Mr. Ford is talking about. Now, his idea is to develop a chunk of the Green Belt as a way of decreasing housing prices. In fact, he thinks that that's the solution to the housing crisis in Toronto and the GTA. But according to some experts, the solution to that problem is not as easy as building along the belt.
Supply of housing is the only solution to housing crisis. And so to build more housing, we need more land. There's no dispute about it. The question is where the land should be. And that's the challenge, to find the land that is desirable by households and families to live, that's profitable to build, but at the same time, it doesn't jeopardize the environmental, ecological future of this region.
But he wanted to build on something that would affect the environment. Now, where I'm at, I've seen people, they're going in, and I always thought marshland was protected. But they cleared out a marshland and they're putting buildings on top of it. It's that part of, I'll tell you right now, homes are very important to have. More important than going in and putting in all of these, like everywhere you go, it's all office buildings. Like, what the fuck is all the office buildings for? It's a pyramid scheme, you know? It's much like Amway, the pyramid scheme. You know, you got the fucking pyramid people. You're talking about the pyramid?
This area was established originally in 2005 as mostly green space, farmland, and watersheds. It's over 2 million acres. That's larger than Prince Edward Island. And it's the largest, most protected green belt in the world. According to Merkers Hader, there are lands available for development beyond the green belt. Leapfrogging over the belt had its own problems, such as creating longer commutes and contributing to higher CO2 emissions. Now, he's flagged a number of issues, and he's not the only one, according to one environmental expert. Those include some consequences for the quality of life here in Toronto.
Houses are built out of pressboard. That's pressboard. You get a windstorm. You know, houses are not built to last. So it's profitable. Like, it's that part of, you know, I'll keep playing this because they're saying about it going on a green belt. He wants to get rid of a green belt so he can put buildings up there. It's that part of, you know, instead of you trying to put buildings, why don't you allow the people to have their own property so that they can put their own building structure up somewhere where it's not going to affect. You want the green belt because, you know, maybe there's something there of profit to you and you want to get rid of the ecosystem because you're not for the planet. You're for the destruction of the planet. You want to destroy it because you know you and your friends are planning to go to fucking Mars. Or so you say. You have your little underground bunkers. But it's that part you really think that people don't know where they are. You know, it's that part of, you know, all that money and stuff that you have. It's all stolen money. It's all blood money.
There's something called the Oak Ridges Moraine, and that's where all the water that falls recharges our rivers. So think the Humber River, the Credit River, the Don River, all those rivers flowing south into the lake. That's why we protected those areas. We wanted to keep subdivisions off them so that water quality can't provide. In addition, if you want to go to a farmer's market, you want local food, you don't want all your food to be trucked in from California, you got to grow it somewhere. And up there in the Greenbelt is where it's growing now.
Now, Tim Gray also adds that opening up land won't necessarily make housing more affordable. Instead, it will actually let speculators loose and drive up farm prices. And while the green belt has existed for nearly 15 years, the laws here can change depending on what the wins over Ontario's vote in June. Near Halton Hills, I'm just one up.
You know, where's this living going? Well, I don't have to, in response to widespread criticism, Ford claimed that he had reserved his position and would not modify the area. Following a successful re-election campaign in the 2022 Ontario general election, Ford used his authority as Premier of Ontario to shift 7,400 acres, 3,000 hectares outside the Greenbelt Reserve, while adding 9,400 acres, 3,800 hectares of land into the environmentally protected area in December 2022. The decision led to a political scandal as some real estate developers had purchased property in the Greenbelt Reserve shortly before the changes were announced. Doug Ford. Did you make a deal with Donald Trump? And you sold out deposits. After you stood up there to everyone and said that you're not going to be the 51st state, you fucker! Crescete poreta! You're a disgrace to the Canadian flag. Canada may be a little corrupt here, but it's only corrupt because of people like you. The decision led to a political scandal. In politics, a political scandal is an action or event regarded as moral or legal wrong and causing general public outrage. Politicians, governments, government officials, party officials, and lobbyists can be accused of various illegal, corrupt, unethical, or sexual practices. Politicians or officials who are embroiled in scandals are more likely to retire or get lower vote shares. The decision led to a political scandal as some real estate developers had purchased property in the Green Reserve shortly before the changes were announced. Furthermore, some of the implicated developers had attended Ford's daughter's August 2022 pre-wedding party, which Ford defended based on the prior clearance he had received from the province's integrity commissioner in January 22. Integrity Commissioner. The Office of Integrity Commissioner for the Province of Ontario is the Office of the Legislative Assembly of Ontario responsible for preventing ethics violation before they occur for the member of the Legislative Assembly. Well, let's see. Hey, Doug Ford. I guess you're laughing. Because they were supposed to prevent ethics violations. Well, they're shitballs from what we can see. You know, he lied to the people twice within a week.
And just stabs you right in the heart and forget that. We're supposed to be as close as Allah in a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
You previously voiced support for abolition, I suppose, for Donald Trump. Do you still consider yourself a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not.
Can you say
It's so disappointing. I'm sure there's millions of Canadians that thought, okay, this might be a good change. My entire life. Yeah, who goes up and just stabs you right in the heart? We were supposed to be as close as allies, close as friends.
So he's saying he wouldn't.
You said before that he was
Trying to find it. He said I could do it. Right again.
I love the U.S. I love Americans.
Are you still supportive?
Absolutely. I wouldn't like it.
You still supporter of Donald Trump? Absolutely.
It's been a disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
you previously voiced support or admiration, I suppose, for Donald Trump? Do you still consider yourself a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not.
Can you say
It's so disappointing.
Absolutely not.
next. This is an executive.
It's been
Absolutely
a
not.
disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
you previously voiced support.
Next, this is an executive order.
Never supported.
A disaster. I'd never
I'm
support
trying
that
to
guy in
port
my
the-
entire life.
You previously voiced support or admiration, I
No.
Next, this is an executive order.
Yeah, I know.
Discharges your secretary of
A disaster. I'd never support that guy in my entire life.
You previously voiced support or admiration, I suppose, for Donald Trump.
Never vote. Or never
I
support.
love the U.S. I love Americans.
Are you still a supporter?
Absolutely. I wouldn't like it. So,
Which Ford defended based on the pre-clearance he had received. Okay. He integrity commissions in January 2022. 7 companies owned by the De Gasperis family, including the construction, Astra Homes, and Leslie Elgin Developers, had planned to build in Richmond, Ontario. Richmondville, Ontario. So you guys see the development thing. Shit! Oh, oh. No, necesito por esto, hermoso, la sociedad, ¿no? So, hey, trading. So, it should be charged for treason because it is. Trying to read this thing. High treason. Everyone who commits high treason who in Canada kills or attempts to kill Her Majesty. Okay, well, or does her any bodily harm tending to death or destruction. Maims or wounds her or imprisons or restrains her. Okay. Levies war against Canada or does any act for territory, therefore, or. Levies war against Canada. It's high treason. Right there. Section 46, 1A, from A to B. You know, like I said, what is a letter petition? Meaning of letter petition.
According to change.org, a petition is a formal written request to a person in authority, elected official, or organization with demonstrated public support in the form of signatures.
Oh, sorry. Meaning of letter patent.
According to Investopedia, a letters patent is a type of legal instrument, in the form of a published written order, issued by a governing power, such as a king, president, head of state, or head of a corporation, that gives a person an exclusive right, privilege, title, or office.
And the queen had letter patents on her family, on her people. Because I read that when I was looking into my own ancestral line, my own genealogy. Assists an enemy at war with Canada or any armed forces against whom Canadian forces are engaged in hostiles, whether or not a state of war exists between Canada and the other country whose forces they are. So, assists an enemy at war with Canada. Are you assisting Donald Trump, who's at war with Canada, because he wants the resources here? Seriously, it's high treason. You know, you all want to go by the law until it applies to you, right? Que está poreta. Señor Shorty said, "What the heck? Just because you think that somebody didn't go to university, that they're stupid and know nothing? Maybe you went to the university, but you sure the fuck didn't really learn nothing, did you? The only thing you learned how to do was how to manipulate people's minds." I'm looking for something. No, you're just thinking, oh, she's just sitting there reading. No, I'm looking. Found it. Now, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. So assists an enemy at war with Canada, which, you guys are doing that. You're assisting him because, you're taking bribes and allowing yourself to be blackmailed because you have a stake in it all. So you are traitors to your country. After, Doug Ford, you did go up and say all that stuff that, you were going to do this, you were going to do that, but you cowered. And you cowered because there was something in it for you, and you were being blackmailed on top of that because you made promises that you didn't keep. And now they're collecting or trying to. But it was never yours to be able to offer up. Equal rights, equality before and under law, and equal protection and benefit of law. Every individual is equal before and under the law as and has the right to the equal protection and equal benefits of the law without discrimination, and in particular without discrimination based on race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, sex, age, or mental or physical disability. You guys are like, you're going against all of that. This was the one thing that I did keep. I also kept the law book with regards to banking. Territorial operations. Exclusive economic zone of Canada. This is section 8, 2.1. Every enactment that applies in respect of exploring or exploiting on serving, conserving, or managing natural resources, whether living or non-living, applies in addition to its application to Canada to the exclusive economic zone of Canada unless a country initiates is expressed in the enactment. Constitutional shelf of Canada. Every enactment that applies in respects of exploring or exploiting natural resources are that mineral or other non-living resources of the seabed or subsoil or living organisms belonging to secondary species is to say organisms that at the harvestable stage either are immobile or on or under the seabed or are unable to move except in physical contact with the seabed and the soil. Applies in addition to the with Canada, controversial shelf of Canada unless the country intends to expose okay. There's like, you know, people need to get one of these. Because I just read President, this was him building in Richmond, Doug Ford. President Michael Rice of Greenland Bathurst planned to begin building in King, Ontario. President Marcelo Pirzzi Hassa of Turca, too, announced construction projects in Sofia to their 2,500,536 Ontario numbered companies. It is a corporation given a genetic name based on its subsequently assigned registration number. For instance, an entity incorporated under the Canadian Business Corporation Act and assigned the corporation number 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 would be entitled to register as a legal name. Plato Upper Markham Village and Minta Holdings held sites in Markham. President Peter Tannenbaum of Nash Road Developments announced construction projects in Clarington, and a Chinese firm based in Wyong announced plans to build in Ajax. I'm confused because he said about like not trusting the Chinese, but what other businesses was a Chinese firm based in China? And just here, like last week or the week before that, they were talking. He was, I believe, he was one of the ones that were talking about making a trade deal with China, and then all of a sudden he's not making. He doesn't want to make a deal with China. They're also bad now because they're communists. But yet, it's like he says that, they're our allies next door. Well, right, trying to create treason, because you're right along with it because, hey, you're saying about communism and we could get things, maybe get things cheap, but you're talking about them getting in and what have you. See, it's that part of, I guess they weren't blackmailing you, and, I guess they weren't offering you the pocket change that you wanted, you know, the extra home or cars, or, like, here, man, you do this for us, you scratch our back, and we'll scratch yours, and we'll work on it together, and then we'll laugh. Even said to Donald Trump in the thing, hey, instead of us being the 51st state, how about you, be our 11th province? And that was exactly what he said. The video where Doug Ford says about Donald Trump and the 51st state becoming the 11th province of Canada.
Bring a smile to a kid. Canadians take care of Canadians. We don't need to be anybody's 51st state.
Okay, Dreamer, you've had a really busy few days, a really busy week. One bit of politicking here. Why are you fighting?
Did you hear about this? The Premier of Canada's Ontario province has offered to buy Alaska from the United States. Doug Ford was speaking in response to President-elect Trump, who has been referring to Canada as the 51st Did you hear about this? The Premier of Canada's Ontario province has offered to buy Alaska from the United States. Doug Ford was speaking in response to President-elect Trump, who has been referring to Canada as the 51st state for weeks. Ford says he doesn't consider the comments a laughing matter.
I'll make them a counter offer. How about if we buy Alaska? We'll throw in Minnesota and Minneapolis. So, it's realistic. You may be joking, but under my watch, that will never, ever happen.
The president-elect is also threatening to impose an additional 25% trade tariff on Canada if they do not strengthen border controls when he takes office.
Okay, well, it was found out that, the border control, the borders were actually done, money went into it last year. He didn't do something. He didn't do something. But, Doug Ford. It said it was- He even said about it being our 11th province.
Naomi never thought she would live out her dream. And one day, she did.
I'm just checking this.
You were made to chase your passions. We were made to put them in a package.
Ontario's premier appeared on Fox News to discuss the Canada-US relationship and Donald Trump's threat of annexing Canada.
You say that Americans don't have a problem with Canadians, and we don't. But it seems like you have a problem with us. Because if I were a citizen of another country and I was a neighbor of the United States, I would consider it a privilege to be taken over by the United States of America. That's what everybody else in the world wants, American citizenship.
And actually, that's not true. Because the thing is, most of the world is tired of it. They're tired of the control because it benefits nobody but him. Well, him now, because he's always going to be there to have control. It only benefits the United States. You know, if you take $100 US money is $143 Canadian money. So how is that fair? You know, Donald Trump is trying to get around this steel thing, and you know, Doug Ford's taking the bait. He's like, you know, he's got blackmail and bought. That's what I say when I say about people being bought. Donald Trump was going to put tariffs, and then Justin Trudeau come back. And then they stopped the tariffs. It was supposed to be stopped for a month, but then Donald Trump comes in with another tariff, and then you know he goes. Donald Trump can, you know, he can sniff out the weak links, and he goes for hurt ones. Then you know, throw his Doge in there, you know, get some dirt to bring forward, but you know, like the rest of it, he can blackmail certain individuals. You know, when that woman and she said that she hopes that, you know, Ontario and Alberta and British Columbia separate. She fucking agreed. You're one of those people that will watch their game and you'll go for whoever you think is the real. Kind of like Donald Trump, Andrew, Andrew, I guess he had or, he just said one and better. Check for your game. It's that part of, read the center line. When you're writing the center, you more apt to see the whole. And Donald Trump probably, like, he's one for gambling with contracts with other people's money. So that's why he probably never, maybe he never gambled. He said he never used drugs or alcohol because there's a video circulating around where, it's suspected that he's won something and he's with Epstein. Some alcoholics can be alcoholics and you not even know that they're an alcoholic until they're drinking. Going around with a glass of Coke all the time. Anybody ever watch Trailer Park Boys? What was it? Guy that's always walking around. I have his name because I used to. I didn't personally know him, but I knew him from him being at the bar all the time when I would go to the bar, and he was actually like that. I will say he's playing his true character. Whether he drank a lot or not, or he just walked around with it in his hand. The Ontario Provincial Police transferred its anti-racketeering investigation to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, in August 2023 to avoid a conflict of interest. So my question is, where is that with the RCMP? In October 2023, the RCMP announced they were opening a criminal investigation into where Ford's charges corruptivity favored certain developers. And these are the people that you put in government and you say, oh, well, they know how to budget. They know how to use our money. Do they? In August 2023, the Auditor General of Ontario released a report detailing how the provincial government's approvals had favored certain developers that stood to earn over $8 billion while filing to consider the development's environmental, agricultural, and financial impacts. Fallout. Housing Minister Steve Clark resigned in September 2023 after the Province Integrity Commissioner concluded that he had violated ethical rules in his approvals of real estate development projects. While announcing his resignation, he reinstated, he resisted calls from First Nations representatives seeking traditional territories to be returned to the Greenbelt. Clark and Greenbelt. Later that month, Public and Business Services delivering Minister Khalid Rashid resigned over his relationship with a developer involved in the Greenbelt scandal. Clark and Rashid's resignation led Ford to reverse his changes, announcing that he would instead encourage building within existing urban areas. Axay is how's that building going? Revising. In October 2023, Clark's censor and as Housing Minister Paul Calandra introduced a bill to restore the Greenbelt's original boundaries and require future changes to be approved by the Ontario Legislative Assembly, which was passed in December 2023. If they allowed people to build on the Greenbelt, you're in violation, seriously. Is that part where you decide you want to make up your own fucking rules because you want to make some money, but you say that it's for the people? It's not for the people. Because you're all fucking slumlords. You know, if you ever looked at public housing or, you know, these senior citizens complexes and stuff like that, they don't look after them. The only ones they look after are their buddy friends, the wealthy. You want someone who's actually going to work for you. When you bring in the people that know where they came from in their roots, and they know what it's like to be there. And they all want to come out of poverty because, you know, people say, oh, well, you've got to have the low income and the middle class and the rich in order to make things function. Do you really? Explain to me why you need to have that. Or was that just a program? Because if you think that, you know, the world's got to work like that, where, you know, you got to have the poor people so, we can step on the poor people, and then the upper people can try to make the middle class people feel like they're nothing because, oh, maybe, what were they talking about when they said about like my ancestors being conceited? Believe me, I asked that question myself all the time because I'm trying to figure things out. I have to ask were they conceited? Or they weren't giving you enough? Or they set boundaries? Didn't mind stealing everything from them, did you? Didn't mind shedding blood for it, did you? And then blaming it on the people themselves for being when it was you guys going around creating a terror because you are the terrorist. Conservatives, you like America, right? And spiritual. Matthew 20. Number 8, 20, 8. The evening he told the foreman to call the workers in and pay them, beginning with the last workers first. When those hired at 5 o'clock were paid, each received a full day's wage. When those hired first came to get their pay, they assumed they would receive more, but they too were paid a day's wage. When they received their pay, they protested to the owner. Those people worked only 1 hour, and yet you paid them just as much as you paid us, who worked all day in the scorching heat. He answered one of them, Friend, I haven't been unfair. Did you agree to work all day for the usual wage? Take your money and go. I wanted to pay this last worker the same as you. It is against the law for me to do what I want with my it isn't against the law to do what I want with my money. Should you be jealous? But I am kind to others. So those who are last now will be first then, and those who are first will be last. I found that pretty strange coming on the heels of me saying about my great granddaddy about helping people. And I was saying about feeling the part about the jealousy. Because you did say that, any of the good ones they left, and then you got rid of the ones that didn't. So the ones that left, they probably fled for their lives, and the ones that were fighting for what was theirs, you killed. Well, you got rid of, and then you stopped because my family didn't know all of this, but my ancestors, they never stopped fighting, and they never stopped trying to fight for the people because those people were the friends. That's where it was that part where everybody deserved something, like, because, maybe it was that part of, everybody, like, no matter how much time you put in, you'd still get paid for a day's wage. Donald Trump, if you think that the best way to get rid of depression is to work more, no, it's to learn how to take control of your life. If you were really helping people, you would have already done what you said you were going to do instead of doing these frivolous things that you're signing. Living up luxury, and you're talking about putting a ballroom in the White House, because he has the money for it. Meanwhile, people are in cabinets, and you want to ship people off to Guantanamo Bay and in prison. If we're talking about med beds and stuff like that, where the fuck are they? Like, you think it's going to be for just for the wealthy? In your dreams, because you like to influence things into people's universe, because that's what dark warlocks do. Let's see. 4. We have Elon, we have Trump. Is it Vance and Zuckerberg? But Trump doesn't believe so much in Vance. Said it in the video. So there's Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos. Whoa! Righteous Descendants 23. Oh my geez, 23. Am I a God who is only close at hand? Says the Lord. No, I am far away at the same time. Can anyone hide from me in a secret place? Am I not everywhere in all the heavens and earth? Says the Lord. It's that part of Spirit sees all. Did you ever hear of, the invisible man? Have you ever been sitting around and, felt like somebody was watching you? Seriously. I know that I embody spirit and connect with spirit and Christ consciousness. And I know others that are connecting with the Christ consciousness. Right now, they're not, nobody's in my immediate circle because, my energy is not easy to handle sometimes. And nobody really likes someone around who can read them because it makes them uncomfortable. But that's okay. Because, it just means that I'm doing and being of service to spirit. Is it easy all the time? No. Because like spirit, I feel it too. Believe this stuff. Don't believe it. I'm done trying to convince people. If you can't see the truth, then that's on you. If you want to read your books and, get up on a podium and preach the words of God instead of sharing your experiences of how you found God. Truly found God in the gifts. It's part of, everyone has the gifts from God. Spirit, source, creator, universe, belief. whatever you say. The past 4 years have not been easy. I was worried about being judged, and if I spoke like this, if I was myself, what others would think. And now I just don't give a shit what you think, because it just means you're not ready for truth. And if you are, then start looking in the mirror and seeing yourself. You can be your own best friend or your own worst enemy. I prefer to be my best friend. Keep voting for these people that you think because they have these big businesses and they're wealthy, they know business. The only thing they know is how to manipulate, cheat people, scam people, and everything that the biggest fucking hypocrites and what we're being told. It's not whether a man who's put on the cross or a woman who's put on the cross. The true crucifixion is crucifying people for their beliefs. Because people believe it materialistic. And we forgot how to use our own abilities to make things, build things. Back in the day, they didn't have construction workers. A lot of the time, most people built their own homes. My mom and dad built their own home. It's my mom and dad and my grandpa, and sometimes my uncle and my grand. And they built their home, and they did a pretty damn good job of doing it. None of them have carpentry. They used to do barn raisins. Now you're lucky if you can get help or somebody to do a job of your head. Most people go and vote and they have no fucking clue who they're voting for. Because, go with the narrative. Gotta pick the lesser of two evils when they're both actually devils. Because neither one of them want to evolve. I just need to know the. Okay, so we're talking about money. The grounding. Okay, it's the physical parts of it, body, and then your. How do I explain it? You're moving through that financial aspect of everything, the abundance, and it's keeping you grounded and rooted. But your physical body can be feeling the pain from it. And then you get into the solar plex where it moves up, and then it can be creating like an intuition, but also a fear of anxiety with regards to anxiety, because it can be a fear of the change, the resistance aspect of things, because sometimes it's too scary and too out there to actually understand what it is that's happening. So it creates that anxiety of the panic, almost like you're indecisive. So you got to rest and rejuvenate. That's the part of the meditation, the sitting with the anxiety, sitting with those fears of moving forward, or stepping out of your comfort zone and going into the unknown, because you don't know what's beyond there. So then you got to create your foundation. It's like your map. Get your footing so that you can take things in steps and stages towards the achievements that you see for yourself, whether it be what you perceive to be a financial gain, a material gain, or within a relationship of whatever form. It's the achievements that you want to step into. And sometimes, you can look back at your childhood and figure, okay, what did I want to be when I got older? And then try, work on that. It's not about not going to university. It's how they're teaching it. But it's also, it's that part of, you have that information within you, and you have the ability to tap into it. And that's the rest in rejuvenation, where you sit and you meditate with yourself. You sit with spirit. You sit with all those parts of you, your energy, asking yourself, what are you feeling? Why are you feeling it? And where are you feeling it? What's it trying to show you? Because once you open up and allow yourself to see what it's trying to show you, that's when your seed will begin to grow. But it won't grow all over the place. It'll grow in the direction that it's meant to be. And when I say meant to be, it's that part of each stage brings you closer to something different. And it depends on what way you want to go. So are you going to make the seed expand all in all different directions so it's all screwy and you can't see the light in the darkness because you have your eyes closed? It's that part of, you know, seeing, being the seed and seeing it before you start to try to go in 100 different directions, like you're running on ADD or ADHD. It's that part of sitting with spirit, and spirit will guide you in the necessary places, positions, because that spirit, it's different forms of you. It's already seen you in those situations. So it can steer you into a new situation, or, you know, you can be resistant and continue to go in the same direction. That's getting you nowhere, but round and round these circles. With that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting and willing to receive yourself. I want you all to be big, bold, brave, most importantly, be yourself, be your authentic self, be who you are, not who somebody says you are or have to be. Be true to yourself and others, be kind to yourself and others, and know that you have more strength than you can comprehend at times. I'm sending you all love. Keep it